Section 6.2, Finding Area Under a Normal Distribution. Many of the distributions in which statisticians are interested are approximately normal distributions. One important application of a normal distribution is that the area under any part of the normal curve is equal to the probability of the random variable falling within that region. We already have a little bit of experience finding the area under a curve and the probability to the left or right of the binomial distribution, and now we're going to repeat that process for the normal distribution. So the area under the normal curve to the left of a specific x value of the random variable is equal to the probability that x is less than or equal to x. We don't use the probability that x is less than x because the normal curve or the normal distribution is continuous, and we're just finding whether x is in a range of values. Therefore, we can say that those two quantities are equal. We know there are an infinite number of normal curves, and to find the area under a normal curve, we would have to rely on calculus, but that is outside of the scope of this course. Instead, we can compute the area under any given part of the standard normal curve. Remember, that is where we set the mean equal to 0 and the standard deviation to 1. Now that is fixed and compiled into tables so that we can look up the area under the standard normal curve without relying on calculus. In addition, the area under any normal curve can be found using calculators or statistical software. So in this course, we're going to focus on the use of Excel, but we'll also take a look at the standard normal distribution tables. I do want to point out that if you're using Hawks might ask you to use the standard normal table, but you will also get the correct solution using Excel. Let's begin by finding the area under the curve to the left of a calculated z-score of 0.31. That is denoted as P, or the probability that z is less than or equal to 0.31. So again, we're looking to the left. Let's take a look at Table B from Appendix A, which is part of the standard normal distribution table. And we can see that as we move to 0.3 on the left-hand side and 0.01 together making 0.31, the intersection of those is 0.6217. So the probability that z is less than 0.31 is 0.6217. Let's take a look at how to set up our spreadsheet for finding the area to the left. So we know that Excel will always calculate the area to the left. Previously, we used binom dist. Now we're going to use norm S dist. Again, that's the standard normal distribution. And we're going to use the z-score, 1 or true for cumulative. So z is the z-score and cumulative is true or 1. So let's double check our score that we had before. We had an input of 0.31, and we can see that the area to the left of that using Excel and the standard normal table is 0.6217. Let's take a look at two more examples. Example 2, use your spreadsheet to verify that the area under the standard normal curve to the left of z equals 1.37 is 0.9147. So we're going to enter the z-score of 1.37, and we can see that this is what we would find. The area to the left does, in fact, equal 0.9147. Keep in mind how much of that area under the curve is shaded. The entire area under the curve is equal to 1. So it makes sense that with that much of the normal curve being shaded, that our area would be close to 1. Example 3, find the area under the standard normal curve to the left of z equals negative 2.03. Again, we can see based on the picture that this is a very small area. All we have to do is enter negative 2.03 in for the z-score, and we find the area is 0.212. Whether we use the cumulative normal table or Excel, both calculate the area to the left of a given z value. However, we can use the fact that the entire curve is equal to 1 because the sum of all probabilities is equal to 1. So if the table gives us the area to the left, or if Excel gives us the area to the left, then subtracting that area from 1 gives us the area to the right of z. So we're going to use equals 1 minus norm S dist z-score, and again, comma 1 for cumulative or true. Let's go back to our formula spreadsheet and add in a area right option. And that again is just going to be using that 1 minus norm S dist. In this case, our input for the z-score is in B3, and we can do that for both the input and for the output. Let's now use our spreadsheet to find the area under the standard normal curve to the right of 1.37. So we have found the area to the left previously, which was 0.9147. We know that the area to the right is going to be 1 minus that. So if I enter 1.37, notice it does enter that 0.9147 again, and this is just 1 minus that value, so 0.0853. Let's take a look now at how to find the area between two z-scores. We must find the area to the left of the greater z-score and then subtract the area to the left of the lower z-score, and that is going to leave us with just the area in the middle. So for two different z-scores, we're going to use norm S dist, the greater z-score, comma 1, minus norm S dist, the lesser z-score, comma 1. Let's set up our spreadsheet to do that for us. So we're going to have an input for the lesser z-score and an input for the greater z-score, and then area between is simply norm S dist, the greater z-score B9, comma 1, minus norm S dist, the lesser z-score B8 minus 1, or sorry, comma 1. So I'm going to go to my outputs page and verify what I can see on the screen, which is if the lesser z-score is negative 1.68 and the greater z-score is 2, I'm going to get 0.9308. Now, I want to point out something to you. On the picture, you can see that the calculated z-score is 0.9307, and I got 0.9308. Neither one of those is incorrect, and Hawks will accept both of those. The reason that they are different is in this screenshot, we have a rounded z-score minus a rounded, in this screenshot, we have a rounded area minus a rounded area, which leads to a less precise rounded area. So the area in Excel is not rounded until it gets to the end of the question. Let's use our spreadsheet now to find the area under the standard normal curve between z equals 1.50 and z equals 2.75 using Excel. Now, before I do this in Excel, I want to think about what this is going to look like. These are two positive z-scores. There's not a lot of space between them, so this value should not be close to 1. It should be closer to 0 than to 1. So let's see what we come up with. The lesser z-score is 1.5, and the greater z-score is 2.75. And so we get a very small value of 0.0638. I do want to point out to you that if I did this in the wrong order, 2.75, 1.5, I would get a negative area, and we all know area cannot be negative, so that should be a clue that you've put them in the wrong order. Before we talk about finding the area in the two tails, I just want to point out that we're not just randomly finding areas. This will all come into play when we start talking about confidence intervals and hypothesis testing. Right now, we're just really focusing on the skills needed to find those areas and understand which direction we should be finding areas. So let's talk about finding the area in the tails for two z-scores. So again, for the lesser z-score, we're going to use norm S dist z, comma 1, which is going to give us the area to the left. For the greater z-score, we want the area to the right, so we're going to use 1 minus norm S dist, greater z-score, comma 1, and then we're just going to add those together. So let's take a moment to set up our spreadsheet. Again, we're going to use that same input for lesser z and greater z. The area in the tails is norm s dist, lesser z, comma 1, plus parentheses 1 minus norm s dist, greater z, comma 1, close the parentheses. So we're going to use this spreadsheet to take a look at the area under the standard normal curve. To the left of z is negative 2.5 and the right of z is 3.0. Taking a look at the picture, we can see that this is going to be a very small value. But let's go ahead and use our spreadsheet to verify this. Our lesser z-score is negative 2.5, and our greater z-score is 3. And we can see that together, the area in the tails is 0.0076. The last computation for this that we're going to work on is finding the area between or in the tails of the same z-score. Now, I could use what I already have on my spreadsheet and simply enter negative 1.5 for the lesser z-score, positive 1.5 for the greater z-score, and my spreadsheet would do the rest. But this in particular is going to come into play when we're dealing with confidence intervals and with hypothesis testing. So quite often we're going to have the same z-score with a different sign. And if I want the area in the tail, again, let's use that negative 1.5, positive 1.5. If I want the area in the tail, I can find the area to the left of the negative z-score. And I'm going to multiply it by 2 because my curve is symmetric. So the area to the right of the positive z-score is the same as the area to the left of the negative z-score. So I'm just going to find one of the values and multiply by 2. 2 times norm s dist, the lesser z-score, comma 1. To find the area between, I'm going to find the area in the tails and subtract it from 1. So 1 minus 2 times norm s dist, lesser z, comma 1. We'll finish up our spreadsheet for 6.2 with an input for our negative z-score, and then area between is 1 minus 2 times norm s dist, negative z-score, comma 1, and the area in the tails is 2 times norm s dist, b14, or negative z-score, comma 1. So let's use that to find again, we're going to find the area under the curve to the left of negative 1.23 and to the right of positive 1.23. So I'm going to enter the negative 1.23, and I'm looking for the area in the tails. So that is 0.2187. Let's finish up with some general practice. So I would like you to press pause and try these questions all on your own, and then we'll go through them together. So the first one, we're just looking for the probability that z is less than 1.45. So I'm going to put my z-score 1.45 right here, and left is less than, so that's 0.9265. For B, z is greater than negative 1.37. So again, that's just a regular right or left. In this case, we're looking for the right, 0.9147. Next, we're looking for between two values, and the two values are different. So I'm going to go to the lesser z-score, 1.25, the greater z-score, 2.31, and I'm looking for the area between those two, which is 0.0952. Next, we have z is less than negative 2.5 or greater than positive 2.5. This is the same z-score, so I'm going to use this section, negative 2.5, and that's going to be in the tails because I'm going to the left of the negative and the right of the positive. So 0.0124. Finally, we have z is less than negative 4.01, so that's way back up at the top, negative 4.01. We can see the area to the left is approximately 0. This makes sense because most of our data is going to occur within 3 standard deviations to the right or left. Similarly, if I put in 3.98, I can see that the area less than that is approximately 1, which means most of the standard normal curve would be shaded.